I was hired to update emergency contact information for municipal buildings. Not inspections, not repairs, just paperwork. Most of my days were spent in basements that smelled like dust and old water, opening metal cabinets that hadn't been touched in years. Schools, courthouses, transit offices, places people forgot existed. The building on Lake Street wasn't on my schedule. It didn't show up on the city database at all. The address existed, but the entry was blank. No department, no owner, no listed function. That should have stopped me, but the work order had a badge number and a signature. Everything looked legitimate. The building itself was ordinary. 4 floors, concrete, narrow windows, no signage. The front door was unlocked. Inside, the lights were on. The lobby smelled clean, recently cleaned. Like disinfectant. There was a security desk, but no guard. A clipboard sat on the counter. At the top of the page were handwritten words. Maintenance log. Do not skip entries. Below it were dates going back years. Every entry was short. Checked doors, all sealed, checked lights, operational, checked ventilation, normal every day. Samey handwriting. No missed dates. The most recent entry was from the night before. I flipped the page. The next section was titled Occupancy Check. There were checkboxes next to 3 lines. Basement floors 1 through 4, roof access, all boxes were checked. I frowned. There were no names, no employee IDs, no reason for the checks. I called the number on the work order. It rang once and went dead. I should have left. Instead, I did what I was paid to do. I started with the basement. The stairwell lights flickered as I went down. The air grew cooler, heavier. The basement was large and divided into rooms by temporary walls. Storage, old desks, filing cabinets with no labels. One room was empty except for a chair bolted to the floor. No dust on the seat. I didn't stay long. On the first floor, I noticed something odd. The doors to each office had numbers, but they didn't match the floor plan posted by the elevator. Some numbers repeated. Some were skipped entirely. One door was labeled room in use. I listened. Nothing. I moved on. By the 3rd floor, I realized the building was too quiet. No distant traffic. No pipes. No hum of electricity. Just my footsteps. Every light was on. Every room looked ready for use. Desks wiped clean. Chairs pushed in. Trash cans empty. No personal items. No computers. No phones. Like people worked here without leaving anything behind. On the 4th floor, I found another clipboard taped to the wall. Daily review confirmed compliance. Below it was a checklist. Noise levels, acceptable movement within parameters, subjects accounted for subjects. I stood there longer than I should have. I heard something then, a sound from above me, slow footsteps. On the ceiling, I reminded myself there was roof access, probably someone else from maintenance. I called out, "Hello, city services." The footsteps stopped. I waited. Nothing answered. I took the stairs to the roof. The door was unlocked. The roof was empty. No equipment, no vents, no footprints, just a small structure in the center with a locked steel door. There was a keypad. The screen was on. It read active. I stepped back. That was when I noticed the sound again. Below me, not footsteps. Breathing coming from the stairwell, slow, measured. I went back inside and closed the roof door behind me. The breathing stopped. I walked quickly down the stairs, 3rd floor. 2nd, 1st, at the lobby. I froze. The clipboard on the desk had been updated. A new line had been added at the bottom. Occupancy check, visitor present. The box was checked. I left the building immediately. That night, I filed an incident report. I expected questions. None came. 2 days later, my supervisor told me the Lake Street order had been closed. He said the building had never existed in our system. I asked about the badge number. He told me not to worry about it. A week passed. Then, too, I started noticing things. Lights on in buildings after hours that shouldn't have power. Doors unlocked that had been sealed for years. And once, in a different basement across town, I found a familiar clipboard. Samey handwriting. Same wording. Different address. At the bottom of the page was a new instruction. If awareness occurs, reset environment. I quit shortly after. I stopped taking city contracts. But last month, I received something in the mail. No return address. Inside was a photocopy of a maintenance log page. The date was the day before. The address was my apartment building. At the bottom, in that same neat handwriting, was a final line. Occupancy check, resident compliant. The box was checked. I don't know what compliance means, but I know this. Every night since then, I wake up at the same time, 3:42. And for a few seconds before I move or think or breathe too deeply, I feel like something is listening, waiting to see if I notice.